Hi. Okay, starting over again. Shoe Talks, Quarantine Edition. Today I'm inviting Rebecca of Vegan Cordwainer. I met her at Brooklyn Shoe Space. She's a teacher there. She's an amazing maker, shoemaker, pattern making, sample making, you name it, she can do it. She's super talented. When we had a factory together, she spearheaded this whole idea of creating a factory line, and she made a very comfortable vegan shoe line, and we named it Loyal Footwear. The factory closed its doors, but she's keeping on making the Loyal footwear, the shoes. They're very comfortable. I just wanted to catch up with her to see what she's doing during this quarantine times. Let me hold on for a hot second. I'm going to turn off the sound on my iPad. Okay, I'm back. All right, hi. Yes, Loyal Footwear. Hey, you're talking about me. Yes. I hope the introduction was quick but enough. For people who don't know, you can please log on and watch and ask questions. Loyal Footwear. Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
I
how are
see
you?
you.
Your hair grew.
Oh yeah. No,
It's
it's
been a
been really
while.
funny people talking about like quarantine haircuts because I've been cutting my own hair for years, so
Oh
you
my God.
know.
My bad
Bangs.
bangs. I can't. That's why. Okay. Back. My hat is back on because you don't want
There
to
we
see
go.
that.
The Keiko uniform.
Yeah, you look great. How are
Oh,
you
thank you.
doing? How are you feeling physically, like emotionally,
It's
everything?
yeah, it's been funny. I think I was trying to think of the right sort of analogy for it.
Uh-huh.
Like basically 'cause I kind of went from working 7 days a week making shoes to just
Right.
like suddenly being away from my studio. So I was like, it's like I got thrown off a treadmill. So I was going at like three
Oh
miles
no.
an
Yeah.
hour, or something like
Yeah.
that. Or
Yeah,
that or
because
thrown off a roller coaster. I don't know which is better.
is this like the first time that you haven't like made shoes for this long? I feel like.
Probably. I brought stuff with me, but it's also, I haven't gotten totally started on it. So I kept busy with, what I could. The one thing when we did, it was a hard choice deciding like whether or not we should leave, because
Right.
Hoboken is really dense. We're right across the river from Manhattan. It
Mm-hmm.
started getting, pretty tightening restrictions pretty quickly. And
Yeah.
I was there still working for like the first 2 weeks, of the
Yeah.
quarantine stuff, and I was getting
Right.
stuff done. But with the being in a, fourth floor apartment, having a dog that has to go out three
To
or
go
four times a
walk.
day,
Yeah.
plus all three cats, then plus once, Curtis, my
Right.
husband, got back to work from home, it was like, I don't know, this could be kind of crazy. So
Right.
we
So
talked to
yeah,
my
where are
I'm
you quarantining now?
I'm in the basement. No, I'm
Okay.
not. I'm out of quarantine actually, which is nice. We did quarantine separate from my parents for 14 days just because
Uh-huh.
we,
To make
we're coming from the
sure.
East Coast just to be
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I have to think Curtis was really, really smart about all of this from the beginning, really
Mm.
early on. Like we started sanitizing doorknobs, when
Right.
I was
Right.
still working. So we've been
Mm-hmm.
being really careful, but you just
Yeah.
never know. So yeah, we quarantined for 14 days, but I'm out of quarantine, so I'm going in the house, and my parents are happy because they don't just have to cook for us and serve us on a tray and then disinfect our dishes afterward. And
Well,
they
I
are
mean,
also having to cook for Sully too, for the
oh,
vegan
right, right,
greyhound, for the dog,
right.
right? So it was a lot of meals. So now that I'm out of quarantine, I can do
You can
cooking, and I've
join
been
them. Yeah, I'll
baking
ask you
cookies.
all about the food too. Maybe we can go
I
to
know,
that first. Like, is that cooking like so meditative in a way?
I know,
What's
it's
your
nice. Well,
favorite that you've cooked so far?
actually, we outdid ourselves yesterday
Uh-huh.
making the best vegan German schnitzel that we have
What?
ever made before.
How do you
Yeah.
do that?
It's a seitan recipe. So
Oh,
that's one of the things I finally did in this kitchen too, was actually make our own seitan for the first
wow.
time, which is
Wow.
actually so
It's
easy because
impressive.
it's basically just vital wheat gluten,
Right.
plus seasonings and
Right.
how you cook it. But we followed this recipe to make it, and it was great. My dad, the omnivore, said for the first time, "Oh, had I known we were going to do that recipe, because we just decided to do it like an hour before dinner." He's like, "Had I known that we were going to do that, I wouldn't have even bothered pulling out the pork for myself. I would have just made it all vegan for everyone." So we're like, "Yeah, that's a win."
Yeah. Whoa.
It was
I
good.
would love
It
to
was
have,
great.
I think you guys should start like a cookbook, quarantine cookbook.
He has one going already, I think. Yeah, we need
Yeah,
to. Yeah.
please.
Well, I feel like I need to take everything in his cookbook and veganize it, because when we
Right.
figure it out, we're just into the challenge of kitchen chemistry. Like, this is the only kitchen you're probably in during quarantine that has, like, I think he has like agar and all those like molecular gastronomy
Whoa.
kitchen chemistry things. So,
Wow.
you know,
Amazing.
yeah,
You're
the
like
amount of
super prepped.
experimenting we can do. Yeah, we're ready.
You're
Ready for the
ready. Yeah.
apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, food aside, I'm like, tell me about shoes. So loyal footwear. How, like well, we can go back to the story too, but the there's, I heard that there's going to be a sale with whatever you
Yeah,
have available.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So basically, when we decided to leave town, it was like, okay, well, one thing I can do that this actually gives me a moment to do is to step back, and we've got some inventory sitting around. And
Yeah.
usually I take it to like in-person markets, like things in Hoboken. But seeing as stuff like that's obviously probably not going to be happening anytime soon this summer, all of it with me. And same thing for the client that I work with, for Sevilla Smith too. I shipped everything that we had in inventory, every ready-made shoe, shipped it all out here. So it's actually been kind of a nice shift of gears that I'm off the treadmill of making. We're like, okay, we've got all this stuff, let's, give people some instant gratification and get rid of some stuff. So I brought all the loyal shoes. So it's kind of random sizes and things like that. I always have to have a shout out to anyone who's a size 6 or 6.5. I have so many choices for you. You just end up with, you end up with too many of one size, and then you sell out of any other size.
Someone's asking, hey, Sevilla, can you see or hear anything? Oh.
Uh-oh. Can people not hear me?
Can you hear?
I have a good connection.
Yeah, today I have a good connection. Everybody.
I know, mine's great. We took a few devices off of the Wi-Fi. Oh, yep, I see.
Yes.
My mom is listening to us from upstairs, although she can probably hear me through the floor because her office is right behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, Faye.
Yeah.
Everyone can see it.
So yeah, do you have photos or the actual shoes with you in your
No,
box?
I have some shoes here. Yeah, I have some shoes. So,
and everybody, like Rebecca is like the queen of vegan materials. Like researching so long, it takes a long while to start a line, We've had it in the works for a long time. And
no matter what materials you're using, it still takes a while to figure stuff out. For us, some of it was like, I had to find, I had high standards for what we wanted to find. It's like one thing to call it vegan and kind of make it out of something cheap. It's another thing to go out and find the materials that meet like different criteria that make them really good quality. So like one of the things that I had to, just go get on a physical in-person sourcing trip when I was in China was was a synthetic that I actually like, these really durable ones that actually perform properly. The substrate's made from like recycled polyester. They're strong. They're not like a coating on a fabric surface. That was like one of the things. But then the other ones are like the eco-friendly materials. So the amount of time it sort of took to get, not only just to get, but then to practice with Pinatex. I think, I remember starting with the first samples fairly early on, and we even saw improvement in development in the quality of their material as we ordered it again. And, and now I feel like you're seeing it everywhere. But I kind of love that because, the more people are using it, the more demand for it.
The more demand, yep.
And the more they improve it too, because we definitely found it had its limitations in terms of durability. Like this stuff, though not plant-based, is incredibly durable and is going to last you for like at least a decade. But you have the Pinatex that's, more biodegradable. But they've actually, now the more popular they get and they improve, they made a new like high durable version that I really want to try. So I think it's called like the high performance one or something. So, next on the to-do list to experiment with. But
but we do have to finish up some orders.
Yeah, exactly.
First.
That's that's what I work
Yes.
on first. But I've always got, the back of my mind
In
is
the
always
back of your
turning on like,
mind.
oh, look
Yeah.
at this.
Yeah.
They've got something new. Same thing with one of those mycelium mushroom companies that finally hit the market with a product.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get a lot of people like sending me articles and things, and it's like I've talked to them, I want it. It's not ready for everybody yet. They really
Not ready for the shoes.
the same pattern happened with Pinatex. They have to start with, some big brand partners, increase their production, and then eventually, maybe smaller brands can actually get some too.
Right. And then, even after with Loyal Footwear, we started using it. They changed the finishes, and I think it's always a progress, right?
It's progress. I think we're early on in a lot of these new materials in the way, people are developing them, but the really encouraging thing is people are developing them. People are putting money behind these companies, and they can, they're actually bringing them to market. So same thing with Pinatex. It was hard to get at first, and now almost anybody can order, and the minimum order quantity is like a meter. The mycelium ones will go the same way, and it'll just consistently replace. And it'll replace what people's biggest criticisms with vegan materials has been about the synthetics, even if they can be recycled.
Yeah.
And, basically where we are right now is that we're just waiting for these more natural things to catch up with the durability. So it kind of makes it an exciting time, right? Because it's all so new.
Yeah. There's so many options coming up.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I have these tiny sizes.
Willows.
Yeah, Willow. I have some cognac ones. I only have one size 839, but I have two size 37. So if you're 6.5, 6.5, anybody?
Yes. And then you were saying that there's the sparrow mules in the gold and
those are
rust.
So we don't have those in our sale. Those are actually, we had managed to make some of those back when we were doing all the Kickstarter mule orders. We made some extra pairs and sent them to the shop M. Patmos in Brooklyn. So she's got them up on her website. So those are there, as well as any of the garden sneakers that exist right now are all on that website, mpatmos.com. So if anyone's asking about sneakers.
Okay, great. So like during this time, now that you are away from your studio, are you sketching, designing something new for your future? Like
the first thing I did is covered all the grease stains on some of my favorite shirts with embroidery.
Oh, that's hilarious. Wait, is that embroidery you said?
Yeah, embroidered right over the top of it.
Oh, wow.
Do you recognize those flowers too? Do you know what all the leftover embroidery floss was from?
It's from your wedding? No.
Yeah. I had all this embroidery floss left over. Yeah. So there's a few little projects like that. It was like, okay, well, I can't.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I can't make shoes.
Yeah. I'm like, I know what you're wearing, but then at the same time, like, no, it's very different.
It's different.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, it was totally sewing machine oil, I think, and grease, from some of the machines. So it was, nice little meditative
There's nothing
project.
you can't make. Kira loves your hat. Everybody comments on how amazing the hat is. Like yellow, cute hat.
That's the side thing, because also I can't make as many shoes as I used to. I've got I made one project. I need to do the other one. So there's finally time, the first time in 2 years, that I can actually maybe tackle some of this
other
stuff
things,
which is good.
Yeah,
other
things. Projects what are that you have. Oh, that's
that
amazing.
I used to kind of have more time for. So
right.
That's like the silver lining, I guess. I could say my bookkeeping has never been tidier than it is right now. Right. You kind of have some moments during the day to get your life a little more in order. Like I said, because I feel like I was sort of thrown off of a treadmill. I'd been running at 5 miles an hour, making shoes 7 days a week, and suddenly it's like, oh, okay.
And I'm a little responsible. I'm responsible